Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna, this is Coffee, Books, and Bullet Journals, and I have a recommendations video for you today. This is a book, this is a video that was supposed to come out last week and I didn't get it filmed, so oops. That's okay. Today I want to talk to you about books that have characters in the STEM field, specifically women in the STEM field. Now, if you are participating in the Avengers reading challenge, there is a prompt on the Iron Man board for a character in STEM, or to read a book about a character in STEM. Obviously, that means you can choose a man, but like we all know that women need more rep in this world. So we're doing a recommendations video on women in STEM because that's honestly what's needed, and we're going with it. Plus, I have a ton of recommendations. I actually didn't think I had that many. There's oddly like not a ton of lists out there because I know like obviously I've read them, but like for some reason when I was coming up with this list, I couldn't think of any. What I was going to do is going to find out, the list, compile a list of my own from those other lists of books that I had read and liked, and I couldn't find any. So I had to do this on my own. So I have a few genres, and we'll talk about it. So the first one, obviously, science fiction. Obviously, you're going to have some women in STEM, in science fiction. So with young adults, I of course have the Illuminati Files. Does have women, the entire trilogy does have women that are part of the science field of it, or also the technology, so that would totally work if you wanted to start and or continue this series. Don't let the size fool you or intimidate you. Yes, it's an over 500 page book, but it's all mixed media. So there's text messages, it's, transcripts. There's some of them, let me see if I can find one. There's some that look like this, like that's an entire page. So it's not as intimidating. Highly recommend listening to the audio while reading it with your eyeballs at the same time, because you'll get a totally different experience reading it one way or the other. So if you combine the two, it's like chef's kiss. Another YA science fiction that I have is The Final Six by Alexandra Monier. There's also a sequel to this called The Life Below. I have not read that one yet, but I do plan on it. They're very, very short. I think the audiobooks are only like 6.5 hours long, so very short. Goes by very quickly. This is about a group of kids that end up getting chosen to go to Europa, which is one of Jupiter's moons, I think. And they go through all these different trainings. So they essentially become astronauts. It's definitely YA. There are definite tropes in here, but it was a really good time reading it. I had a lot of fun, so definitely recommend. And the cover, like, beautiful. Okay, moving on to a book that I just recently read, and I'm not sure if it's YA or adult, so we're going to put it in between the two. And that is The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. This is a dystopian sci-fi where the main character can actually jump between universes and go into these other multiverses. We're calling that science. We're calling that a woman in STEM. It was a very fascinating book, especially if you like character studies and books that are more either character or plot driven. Not as much world building in here because there's 300 plus worlds. And it's a 300-page book. So, we do not get a lot of world building. We don't get a lot of explanation as to why certain things are the way they are. However, the plot is great. The characters are phenomenal. All right, now we're moving into more of a new adult science fiction. The Duology, an absolutely remarkable thing, and its sequel, A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor. I would say definitely have women in STEM, specifically the second one, because you're actually reading from the POV of Miranda, who is the engineer, I think. She's some sort, she's very smart. She's some PhD student. I don't really know what she does, because I'm too dumb for it. Miranda is in the first book, now that I say that I'm thinking it, but yes. I just don't think you get her perspective from it. It has been a few months since I've read this one. But I am reading this one right now, and I'm really enjoying it. But it is, you actually get Miranda's POV in the second one. But I think that both of them would count. Another science fiction book that I just recently read was Recursion by Blake Crouch. This is definitely an adult sci-fi, and it's like a sci-fi thriller. Like, this needs to be a movie or like a Hulu limited series, you know, something. This was so good, and it does focus on a woman who is trying to study brain chemistry and memories and recreating memories and all this other stuff. This book was fascinating. Let me give you a warning. If you're not someone who likes open-ended endings, this may not be the book for you. However, I say that with like an asterisk because I don't usually like open-ended endings, but like I can't stop thinking about this book, and I read it like a month ago. So there's also that. This is definitely a book that sticks with you and is frustrating as hell, but so good. All right, maybe science fiction is not really your cup of tea, your forte. Don't worry, I got other stuff for you. I have a couple of young adult contemporaries. First one I've got is When Dimple Met Rishi. This is a young adult contemporary romance about two teenagers who end up going to this camp to develop an app, and it's very cute, very sweet, and also very diverse. Loved the cast. These characters are adorable. I had a good time reading it. I'm also pretty sure that the audiobook is on Hoopla if your library does support that. The other YA contemporary I have is Slay by Brittany Morris, and this is an amazing book. I loved this book. And it is a young adult contemporary about a girl who created this video game for black kids because she was not seeing herself represented in mainstream video games and, you know, media in itself. So she created this entire video game platform. You had to have an invitation to get into it, and then one of the players is murdered, like in real life, and then there was this whole conversation about how it would affect the game, if she was going to get sued, all this other stuff. And this is just a fascinating book, and really enjoyed it. I also have some adult romance because STEM characters are making their way into romance, into the main characters, like careers and job positions and all that stuff. So the first one is a novella that I just recently read called Get It Right by Sky Kylene. This is a female-female romance with a lesbian and a pansexual character, and it's so good. Really love it. Very body positive. She is, they don't actually use the word plus size, but she's curvy. She's, not your stick figure main character that used to be kind of the norm. So really enjoyed that. Also love the pan rep, and this was just so good. And so one of the main characters is a nurse, and so that's that would be science. We also have The Right Swipe by Alicia Rai, and this is an adult romance about a woman who has created this dating app and has developed the app, and so that would be the technology portion of STEM. I guess we're not really doing a whole lot of engineering and mathematics, but we're getting there. We're getting there. At least we have women represented in here somewhere. But this was really good, and I really enjoyed it. Very fun. It has been a little while since I have read it. It also has a sports romance in it too, which is a personal buzzword of mine. Not that it has any relevance to what we're talking about today, but we all know that's a buzzword for me when you have a football player. So another romance I don't have a physical copy of is A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. That's the only one in the Reluctant Royals series that I have read, so I'm not sure about the STEM representation in the other characters in the other books. However, the main character in A Princess in Theory is studying to be an epidemiologist, and that would be considered science. Okay, we'll end on a mathematics note. How's that sound? Also in the adult romance category, we have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. This is a very, very beloved book on BookTube. Need to definitely reread this, not gonna lie. But this is about a woman who is on the autism spectrum and also a statistician. She basically works for companies that do the algorithm for like when Amazon, when you buy things, then there's some algorithm that tells you like what else you would recommend, and she does the math behind that. So I loved this book so much. It made one of my best books of 2018, and I definitely need to reread it, but highly recommend it. Let me know what books I missed on this list, because I know there are some. So if you have a book recommendation for a woman in STEM, let me know down in the comments below, or just put your favorite emoji down there, and I'll talk to you down there. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little red button that you can do so down below the video, and all of the other links to my social media will be in the description below if you would like to be my friend on any other platform. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Makes this heart beat faster.